What is up, guys? So I've got another post Rise of the Duelist deck profile for Darklords. This is going to be a unique Darklord Ties of the Brethren build. Guys, before I get into this, don't forget to leave a like on the video if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel for more great deck profiles and Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And guys, comment, let me know what you want to see next. I'll be sure to make a deck profile for you soon. But yeah, so let's move into this build. So now the idea behind this deck is really about the synergy between these Darklords, essentially the level 4 Darklords, which is Delight and Pleasure, and Condemned Witch, and Ties of the Brethren. It's really about abusing this combo, and I will show you this combo later, just what you can do with just a few cards. But yeah, so we're going to play one Morningstar. With the new support in Rise of the Duelist, Morningstar is such a good card now. It's a really good card. Even if you can't summon him, that doesn't matter. Just using him for the fusion spell is good enough. So he's a really good card, and I would say in most Darklord builds, you are going to be wanting to play him at least one, just because if you do resolve his summon effect, he has got kind of nice board wipe effect, which is great. 3x Shell, it's our Destiny draw. We really love playing that card. Tez is really good again, just for that ability to stop your cards being destroyed, which is going to be great. Superbia for extending. Nurgle, he gives your Darklords piercing, which is especially good with Lucifer, Darklord, Morningstar. Your opponents a lot of times won't even realize, but put a bunch of cards in defense thinking, oh, you can't do anything, I've got a bunch of cards in defense. Well, Nurgle makes all of your Darklords piercing, which is a really nice effect to have. And this applies to any fairy, actually, not just Darklords. Then we have Naston, one Naston. Sometimes you play him at 3, but this particular variant, he is not the goal. He's not really what you want to summon out, so that's why I'm only playing at 1. 1 Amdusk. Amdusk is again a really nice card just for recycling and adding Morningstar back to your hand if you need to. Then you're going to play 3 Pleasure, 3 Condemned Witch, and 1 Delight. So Condemned Witch, let me read out this card in case you don't know about it. This card has been getting slowly more and more popular because it's just so good for so many different strategies. So when it's normal summoned, you can add 1 Forbidden Quick Play spell from your deck to your hand. During your opponent's main phase, you contribute this card, special summon 1 level 4 fairy from your deck except Condemned Witch. You can only use each effect once per turn. So what makes this card particularly good is, firstly, it's going to search this really good card coming out in Rise of the Duelist, which is basically a better version of Dark Ruler no more. That's how I think of it. But on top of that, it can also special summon either Pleasure or Delight on your opponent's turn. Now, that seems like not a massive amount to start when you think about it at first, but when you combine this card with Ties of the Brethren, these 2 cards is an easy 1-2 card combo into getting Morningstar plus 2 other monsters, which is great. It's just such a good card to have in this deck. It really supports the archetype in a unique way, and it's a line of play that most of your opponents won't be ready for. So I really do like 3 Condemned Witch in this build. Moving on from that, the Darklord kind of spells and traps, we play them at a kind of normal ratio. So we have 3 Contact, 3 Banishment. Then now with the spells and traps of Darklords, this is a going second variant if you haven't guessed already. With Darklords, you're generally going to play 1 of each spell and trap. One of each trap. However, with this variant, I only play Rebellion in the main deck, and that really comes down to the fact that I'm looking to break apart my opponent's board and then resolve a lot of advantage. I don't really want to waste time stealing cards or negating cards and blah blah. It's a lot of effort for not a lot of value and a lot less consistency, which is why I tend to only play 1 Rebellion and 1 Rebellious. Funnily enough, they have similar name, but yeah. So if you're going first, then I definitely would side those back and maybe get rid of your impermanences. But if you're going second, I definitely say only play Rebellion and Rebellious. You don't need to play all the other Darklord traps because they will clog your hand and you can't use them unless they get to the graveyard, so you don't really want to see them in your hand anyway. But yeah, moving on from that, then we have a utility. So we play 3 Law of Darkness just for generic draw power, which is quite useful. 1 Monster Reborn, 3 Imperm, again for negating our opponent, 3 Ash for negating our opponent, and 2 3 Tactical Talents coming out in Rise of Duelist. This card is amazing. This card is what's going to really kind of push this going second strategies into the meta again, in my opinion, just because the 3 effects it has are insane. You're either going to get a draw 2, you're going to get to take control of a card without targeting, or you're going to get to spin a card from the hand back into the deck. So this card is going to be amazing. It's a bit like Call by the Grave, but it's more geared towards kind of denying monster effects and spells or traps effects, and it only applies during the main phase, but it's still a really good card. I'm definitely gonna be playing this card at 2 or 3 when it comes out in Rise of the Duelist. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. I mean, that set's gonna be probably one of the best sets coming out in the near future. But yeah, moving on from that, So extra deck. The extra deck still needs a bit more refinement, but we're gonna start off with one cross sheep. Cross sheep is nice, especially when you have Lucifer on the field, because cross sheep plus Lucifer with a Superbian Grave can just get you so many free summons, which is amazing. So we do play one cross sheep, one Masquerader, because again she's very easy to make in this deck, and Darklord. So Darklord of Pleasure will lock you into fairy effects, but you don't mind making Masquerader and being locked into fairy effects because you're going to use that on your opponent's turn anyway. Hulk Firebrax is really just for climbing into access to Code Talker. Condemn Darklord, so I have that at 3. You don't really need it at 3. I just happen to have it at 3 because I haven't found a card that is significantly better as a link to for this deck. But Condemn Darklord is nice. It just adds a bit of consistency to the deck. It allows you to search any monster basically. So I mean, once Darklords have a way to search their spells and traps, they definitely will be a lot stronger. But Condemn Darklord is still a good card for the archetype. Nightmare Unicorn, a great card to go into from IP Masquerader. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. In Darklords, it's very easy to make this card with its secondary protection effect, just because they've got so many high level monsters that easily summon themselves. So that is a good card for this archetype. Appaloosa is insane for Darklords now because Lucifer stops her from being targeted. So one of the things about Lucifer is that he stops any fairy from being targeted, not just Darklord. So that makes Appaloosa particularly strong in this deck. You can really frustrate your opponent. On top of that, if you make Appaloosa on your turn, she can still be used because Pleasure only stops you from using fairy tech effects again. I think this is the kind of direction that they can Darklords in, as the ability to kind of synergize with other fairy cards, because all of their restrictions don't apply to fairy monsters. So Appaloosa is a really good card for the archetype. Access code for removal. Then we've got Dweller and Daigusto Emerald. Again, Darklords are quite good at making rank 4s now because they have got quite a few rank 4s, so that's why we are playing those two cards. Dingirsu just for standard removal for getting rid of any card, and then Lucifer, Darklord of the Morning Star. This fusion is an insane fusion monster. It can either nuke your opponent's board if you use Morning Star as material, or you could pay 1000 LP to special summon a fairy from your hand or graveyard in defense position, and that's any fairy. Again, this card is insane and it's going to do a lot. Rise of the Duelist, guys. Darklords are going to be coming back on the map definitely, so it is really nice to have all this support. Then looking on the side deck, so I play 3 Effect Veiler. So Effect Veiler will generally go in my deck if I know they're definitely playing something like a Hulk Firebrax combo. It's just a nice card to have in your side deck. Then we have 3 Lightning Storm again for going second. Reasoning. So the reason why I don't play Reasoning in the main deck going second is just because I am playing some cards like Superbia, like Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring, where if all, and Condemned Witch, where if I summon them off Reasoning, I pretty much get nothing off it. So that's why I don't play it in the main deck. However, it is a good card, and if you know you're going first, then this is better to put in. However, I would say that it's not 100% necessary for the deck. Even at 1, I'm looking at my chicken thinking maybe I should even cut it, to be honest. But yeah, moving on from that, we have 2 more Forbidden Droplets. So again, if you're going against a deck where you really need to see those extra negates because they're making like a smattering of negates in their field, kind of like Adamantipator, then definitely you want to put those 2 extra droplets in the deck. 1 Sanctified. Sanctified is the one that I would definitely play over Enchantment if I'm going to add another Darklord spell or trap, just because his LP gain effect is very useful as well, and his ability to negate any card without targeting is just too hard to pass up. 3 Call Banner Grave. You don't like getting negated in this deck. If your Ties of the Brethren or something gets negated, you are going to be shafted, so you do want to have those if you're going first, and 2 evenly matched just to round out that extra deck. But yeah, guys, what I'm going to quickly do is show you the standard combo with this deck if you do resolve the Ties of the Brethren and what it can get you. So let's move on to the combos. So guys, here's the standard combo that we can do with Condemned Witch and Ties of the Brethren. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to normal summon Condemned Witch. Condemned Witch is going to add the droplet to your hand, so that's going to be quite nice. Then we're going to move into Ties of the Brethren on Condemned Witch, and obviously that allows us to summon both Pleasure and Delight. Now you're not going to get Pleasure's Search, but that does not matter because you're just going to get it next turn. So you're going to use these 2 cards. Then moving on to your opponent's turn, during their main phase, what you want to do is activate Condemned Witch first, and then special summon whichever one you need. So sometimes you're going to special summon up Pleasure, sometimes you might have to special summon out Delight because that's what you need instead, but it really just depends on what you need at that particular moment. Pleasure is going to activate, and when Pleasure activates, she's going to special summon a card to their side of the field, which is going to be, so I'll choose to special summon a Superbia from my hand. I don't actually have to, but I can, but anyway, yeah. And I'm going to add a Morning Star to my hand, and then Delight. You are now going to use Delight's effect to resolve Morning Star. So activate Delight, special tribute your Delight and your whatever other card you want to choose, so one of my pleasures, and bring out that Morning Star. And now I brought out Morning Star on my opponent's turn. Morning Star is also going to resolve and special summon a card, and then what's even better than that is the light is also going to resolve. When the light goes in the graveyard, she reduces your opponent's attack by 500 for every fairy monster you control. So that's just the standard combo you want to go with here, and that was just from 2 cards, which is what makes this combo particularly potent, because your opponent is unlikely to kill you, and now you just put a bunch of Dark Lords in your grave on their turn as well, which is great. So yeah, this is the kind of standard ties combo you're doing with this build. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.